Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. I was at SIHH 2018 when this watch debuted. It is a Grand FEU Enamel dial with an automatic winding manufacturer flying tourbillon, and collectively the journalist gasped when it was announced that this watch would retail for under $30,000. Today, they're an even better buy pre-owned and one of the best way to get into independent watchmaking complications without taking any real risks. That's right, Ulysse Nardin and its sister company Girard-Perregaux are once again independent, but also large enough and well endowed enough with access to parts, supplies, and know-how to maintain these watches forever. There are a lot of indies on a less solid financial ground. UN has been around and will be around, and this watch is full of reasons for you to stick around, because it is 43 millimeters in stainless steel, 12.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 49.3 millimeters. The timepiece wears well. Ulysse Nardin is famous for integrated lug style cases, which we definitely have right here, but they actually don't create fit issues like some of the older UN watches, which were much larger and much broader. You could see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the lugs are actually not overhanging on either side, and I'm pulling the strap fairly tight. So I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters in circumference. Again, my wrist is 16. It has a reasonably low profile, being only 12.1 millimeters thick. That's Rolex Daytona territory, so it will fit underneath the cuff. The strap, as is often the case with Ulysse Nardin, is substantial and of very high quality. It has the company's corporate blue, like the dial and the marine chronometer theme. More broadly, it's designed to remind you of Ulysse Nardin's nautical heritage as a manufacturer of deck chronometers or navigation clocks. Taking a quick look, you can see it's fixed to the case using a combination of screws and bars, and that's important because that gives you more security than a springboard. It's a more expensive way to make a case, but it's the best way to make a large and valuable watch. The strap is substantial, broad and thick cut. You can see it's got a little bit of bolstering and possibly a shaped insert in order to match the flare of the lugs like that, but it has a folded edge, a monotone stitch on the bottom. You can see calfskin. You can see that it is a Ulysse Nardin factory strap in brand new condition. And we have here a set of large rectangular scale alligator leather profiles, and they're symmetrical scales, which indicates a really expensive cut of the material. Double folding clasp, also in steel. Note media blasting as well as polish. We have ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps to make sure over time the tolerance remains snappy, as the ceramic pin snaps can never wear down. We also have a twin trigger release system right here, so you have to press both to open up the clasp. It cannot pop open apropos of nothing, so appropriate to a sports watch. And with lume automatic winding, a steel case, and 100-meter water resistance, this is a sports watch. By breaking out the lugs visually, Ulysse Nardin emphasizes the marine chronometer-like shape of the case itself. Now you can see it's got a little bit of a concave profile when viewed from the side, and it has an individual number plate that has been blue lacquered, just like you would have seen on Ulysse Nardin marine chronometers of the 19th and early 20th century. By the way, if you have one of those, send it back to them. They still service those. You can see it's been finished. It's beveled on its side. It's satin finish across its top. And then we have two fired screws holding it in place. The case is all of high polish, with the exception of the crown guard structure, which has a combination of satin and polish for contrast. You can see the crown polished outboard, but with a blue shoulder to make it easier to grip. The shoulder is made of rubber. It is a screw-down crown. When you screw it out, you can wind the watch. Note it has a power reserve indicator up at the top. It has a power reserve of 60 hours. There is a flying tourbillon, and look at that, no upper bridge to block the view. Invented in the 20s by Alfred Hellwig in Germany, the flying tourbillon has no upper bridge. You look directly at the carriage, so no spectacle is blocked. Of course, you pull the crown out, you set the watch, take a look. It's got lovely, vintage, evocative marine chronometer style hands, but they are loomed, and we'll do a loom shot just so you can see that. In fact, the whole dial is loomed, and fairly abundantly. This is an easy watch to read in the dark. Now, while it doesn't have a conventional running seconds hand, that is a 1-minute tourbillon, so it does make 1-minute sweeps the dial. You can use it as the seconds hand. The watch is modern in every regard. It beats away at 4 hertz, so even with the tourbillon, and the higher beat rate, the watch still achieves an admirable 60-hour power reserve. All this pivots on 36 joules. If you look carefully on the tourbillon structure just below, you can see the bridge for the escapement. The hairspring is silicone, and the escapement, let's see if we can show this to you. The escapement, both the anchor and the wheel, there you see it right there, they are made of silicone for low friction and reduced maintenance requirements. So not only is this watch remarkably resilient to changes in temperature as a timekeeper, but it is also hugely anti-magnetic. Also important, if you look carefully, you can see that it's a free-sprung balance, and it actually has recessed bolts in the balance to reduce the aerodynamic drag of those tiny components, but also allow for changes to the polar moment of the balance or the turning force, allowing the watchmakers to adjust it precisely. Free-sprung balances are known for precision of adjustment, but also shock resistance, because there's no mobile stud regulator to move and change the operation of the watch. Turning it all over, you can see that we have the UN 128 movement. It's got a bidirectional magic lever style pawl-based winding system. It has a lacquered and triple finished white gold winding mass with the UN logo and anchor. You can see the screws have been fired blue, that we have a combination of satination on the edge of the bridges, but on the center or the tops of the bridges, we have circular Côte de Genève. You can see that the barrel has been solarized. If you look carefully, I'll do my best to show it, there are clean and attractive bevels, even if they are mostly mechanically applied, but the rotor is the most obviously and extensively hand-finished element, and it catches the eye with ease. Now on the dial side, we have FEU Enamel. You didn't think I was going to skip that, did you? So we have a marine chronometer style look. Traditionally on the marine chronometers, you would have a second subdial, you would have the hands at center, you'd have a power reserve up at the top. You can see it says high and low, up or down. Then we have a track outboard, a dished profile, again switch to read the minutes. We have radially arrayed Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4, and flinque enamel. It is a translucent blue enamel created by Ulysse Nardin's in-house dial specialist, Donze Cadrin. So they purchased Donze in 2012 and Sigitech for their silicon back in 2006. So Ulysse Nardin is incredibly integrated in terms of being able to make even the most challenging and specialized parts of the watch. This is called flinque enamel because it's grand faux, fired up to 20 times at 800 degrees centigrade, but it's also translucent, showing a rosette pattern, a sort of guilloche, which may be stamped or reductively engraved, but you can see it is a rosette pattern with translucent grand faux on top. Very difficult to achieve, a beautiful and rare effect. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.